Welcome back to Special Report. So we talked last segment about the impact the verdict will have on the Big Apple, but there's something else that is a major issue for New Yorkers, and that, of course, is illegal immigrants, as you heard Jason talking about earlier, just completely taking over the city after Harlem residents pushed back. Democratic Mayor Eric Adams finally reversed course on a decision that he made about their luxury living quarters. Yeah. Real news, guys, with him deciding giving luxury Harlem condos to illegals, maybe wasn't such a good idea after all.
I told the team, find out what's going on here. We're not moving folks into a brand new building when you have long-term needs into a community. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, joining us for reaction, we want to welcome in Derek Maltz. He is a former Special Operations Director for the DEA, and always a pleasure to have him here on Special Report. The fact that they even considered this, Derek?
Well, look, it's not too surprising. I mean, we see this all around these sanctuary cities in America. You know, the mayor of Chicago has been speaking out about how the city's collapsing. I mean, Mayor Adams has said perfectly that they can't sustain this in New York. It's a national problem, not a local problem. But what's really killing me to understand is how these border policies are crippling Americans. But it's great for the cartels. It's great for the corrupt leaders in Washington. And it's very successful for these illegal migrants that are coming here trying to harm Americans.
Yeah, I mean, talk about incentive, right, Tera?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where do you think this is going to impact the elections with these policies? Like, is it going to change some of the Democratic votes, maybe, that they're being impacted by it and those policy decisions?
Well, good question. You know, if we can get a fair election, okay, with these anonymous voters and these mail-in ballots and all the crime and fraud associated with that. But let's think about it, right? Right now, American cities are turning into mini war zones, and citizens are not feeling safe and secure. And that's not just Republicans, that's Democrats as well, independents. So they need to wake up. Without border security, we'll have no country. Now, just remember this. We're sending National Guard down to the border at record levels. We have the Mexican army just had a gun battle right across Roma, Texas, killing 12 cartel gunmen, right? 60 Minutes had a special not too long ago about the Chinese migrants, fastest growing, border crossing element from Mexico into the U.S. CNN headlines talks about carjackings, homicides, robberies, stealing a sense of security across Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. But it's all over the country, so the taxpayers and the voters have to wake up. It's that simple.
Well, wake up, though. But Derek, Dems found another way to mess things up. Did you hear about this? We were just talking about it right before the break. There's talk that illegals in New York could receive $10,000 debit cards. I mean, talk about hitting the jackpot. I mean, what's the message that we're sending here? It pays to break laws?
Right. Well, there is the rule of law is fading away in America, and this is attracting all these very bad people around the world. Now, I'm not saying that everyone coming into America are bad people. That's not what I mean. It's like President Trump said not too long ago, how these prisons in Venezuela and other South American, Central American countries, they're exporting all these really bad people into our country. And we see that with the new Venezuelan gang that's operating all over New York City, as an example, or Chicago, or down on the border. So we will continue to feel this pain. Like, look at the carjackings in Washington, D.C. The former Trump official, Mike Gill, was recently killed as an innocent, citizen trying to, drive around Washington, D.C. You're not even safe. Philadelphia, to have car chases. Seattle, Washington, these young kids are carjacking, and they're getting away with it. It's disgusting, and every American should understand this is a matter of, you either have law and order. I mean, you either have laws and you enforce the laws, or you have chaos. And right now we have chaos. It's getting worse.
Yeah. And Derek, too, the population, I mean, history was made. Biden made it with his open border policies. We have a record-breaking increase in our population, 3.8 million additional people in 2023. I mean, it is changing everything about our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive surge. There's unknowns coming into this country from around the world. It's not just poor, innocent people from Central America and Mexico. There's almost 180 countries represented. We have all these, and I like to steal the line from the New York City Police Commissioner, all these ghost criminals that we don't even know who they are. We can't verify who they are. The Tera screening numbers are off the charts, right, of apprehensions on the border. So, you know, it is what it is. It's just going to continue to get worse. And shame on the American voters if they don't change this madness.
But they're talking about it, and they've been trying to do it, supposedly, right? So House finally votes to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas after the second time around. But now it's in the hands of the Senate. But they've tabled this whole idea. And senators like Ted Cruz are putting pressure on Mitch McConnell to do something about it. But they're not doing anything right now. And you know, the Homeland Security Secretary, Mayorkas, is responsible for this. But let me ask you this. What do you think the likelihood that he will be impeached in the Senate is? And will that change anything? Last minute to you.
I'm hopeful that people representing the citizens of the country will realize that we can't have a Homeland Security Secretary that's lying about control of the border. We can all see what's going on. I think every American now understands that he's lied. So he's helping facilitate. And not just him, the administration's helping to facilitate these transnational criminals to kill our citizens. It's that simple.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tera.
Derek, and that's where you can impeach Mayorkas, but ultimately it's Biden. I mean, Biden should be impeached. It's his policies. It's coming from the White House. Right.
That's the interesting argument that you continue to hear, that, you know, the DHS secretary is just carrying out the orders of his boss.
Yeah.
So at what point does the boss get held accountable for this madness?
Do you think the next step will be impeaching Biden on the border? You can impeach him on China and everything else, but the border specifically.
I mean, Tera, I'll be honest with you. I am losing confidence in all of these politicians because it's all talk, no action. I mean, all these hearings and everything, I give them credit for trying. I want to see some action.
I think
people got to be held
and
accountable.
so does everyone watching this program right now. Derek, always a pleasure to have you on.
Derek.
And we appreciate your passion and the action that you take.